Hello people of YouTube, my name is Brad. This is my channel, Animate Orange, and in this week in 3D metal model news, Fascinations. That's usually where I start. Fascinations in the past month have released a number of different models, a total of 7 different Star Wars models, and one of them being an Iconics model. Those were all released very recently. A Harry Potter Iconics model, that would be the Hogwarts Express, a Game of Thrones Iconics model, the all-silver Targaryen Sigil, and the Mars Insight model. With all the stuff that they've recently released, it is no surprise that this week there is nothing new from Fascinations. All the car models, the Ford models we've talked about recently, are still sitting there waiting to move over. I honestly wouldn't mind them taking a little time at this point to move over because there's enough to build as it is. However, with the release of the Star Wars Episode 9 models, Fascinations on their Instagram has put up a little bit of a contest. And according to their post, it says, it's time for a giveaway. Thursday, October 17th, one lucky winner will be randomly selected to receive 5 new Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker Middle Earth models. Rules: follow, like, retweet, and tag a friend. There's a link in the description down below, or if you already have a Twitter and follow Fascinations, you may have already known about this, but again, there's a link down below you can click to go and follow those rules to possibly enter to win a set of the Star Wars models. Now moving over to Peace Cool, it's a very similar story there. They've recently released a couple of different sets of models with the some sort of commemorative items, the military items, and then before that they had the wedding set, so there's nothing new from their website this week either. However, the military type collection that they recently released is now available on a few different stores in AliExpress. Speaking of AliExpress, looking around there and Crazy Toys, I did manage to find a model that sounds familiar, but I can't specifically place talking about it before. I can't find any reference to it in any of my notes. There was a MU Hall of Supreme Harmony. This sounds familiar, and I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I couldn't find where I'd actually spoken about it before. I found it on the crazytoys.co.uk site and their AliExpress store. It's listed as being stainless iron and brass. I'm pretty sure that means stainless steel and brass. There's 4 sheets. They're 35 by 19 centimeters. Finished size of the model is 10.5 by 9.6 by 11 centimeters. And it's 95 pieces, listed at about $33 on the AliExpress store. And further looking around on AliExpress, I found a couple of models from Microworld I do not remember talking about, and they're also wedding related. So it almost seems like Microworld and MU are kind of doing a similar theme, similar things to what Peace Cool has done recently with Microworld. I found a couple of wedding outfits. It's a groom suit and a bridal gown. The groom suit, the listing that I found, it showed 2 separate listings, but honestly, if you go into either listing, you have the option to buy either model or both models together. The groom suit, if you go into that listing, the information on there says the finished size is 12 by 8.5 by 23 centimeters. It's 4.5 sheets. It's 189 pieces, listed as a 6-star model. It's stainless steel or stainless iron, and is about $39.39 US for either model. The bridal gown, its information, again, stainless iron or stainless steel, 13 by 15 by 23 centimeters, finished diameter, 3.5 sheets, 305 pieces, and 6-star difficulty. So very similar, but also very different. It's also listed at $39.39, or you can get both models for $74.05 from the website that on the AliExpress store. I found them. The descriptions, or in the description down below, will be links to some of the things that I'm talking about. And also, and I didn't get to write the price down for this, but also you can buy either model separately with tools, both models together without tools, or either separately without tools. So they have a few options, and for whatever reason they've listed them separately in the store, but inside of both you have the options to do the same things. Buy both models, either model, whatever. And that is what I found this week as far as new models is concerned. So that brings us to the question of the week time. And last week's question of the week, It asks the question, have you ever had a model frustrate you to the point of either giving up or what some people might call rage quitting? Smashing the model, throwing the model away, destroying it, whatever. I asked that question and said that this week I would give a little story of my own. Did get a few responses. I'll read those off now. Sonic Alpha says the Metal Earth Spitfire caused me to tear out some of my remaining hair. LOL. It's pretty straightforward until it comes to the part where you're connecting the wings. Two upper parts of the wings connect to the main section of the plane, and then all three parts connect to the underside part of the wings plane, which is one piece. It just would not line up properly at all. Certainly we have all ran into frustrating times in these models where things just didn't seem to want to line up. This metal is flexible and bendable, and try as you might to get things to line up, sometimes they just don't want to. And that's a model that I haven't put together yet, so I will consider that a warning for when I do. Kamal. When I first learned about Metal Earth, I bought the Mustang because I'd always loved Mustang cars. I've had about 4 of them in my lifetime. I couldn't get this car right no matter how hard I try, so I bent the damn thing up and threw it away. Keep in mind, I was a beginner. But I do have one today that I'm proud to say it looks perfect. LOL. I completely respect that. When you first get into this, there's a bit of a learning curve and it's very frustrating. I remember building the 95 Mustang, I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about here, and at that time I was fairly experienced and I had a hard time getting it to look like I thought it should look. So certainly understand how being a beginner model, while it looks like it'd be easy, not really. It's definitely got some challenge to it. It's not terrible, but it's got some challenge to it. I don't think it fits together as well as maybe it could. Shane Stribley, hi Brad, great update, thank you. About this week's question, the only model I've tried, failed, and just lost complete interest in, not once, but after 2 attempts, is the Sydney Opera House. Never, ever again. I can respect that as well. The Sydney Opera House, the way those roof pieces come together is really a challenge to get. I had a lot of difficulty when I started working on it towards the end. I kind of got into the groove of doing things, but I can certainly see it's one of the ones that I wouldn't want to do again. And on top of that, not just the roof pieces, but that framework that it sits on, trying to get everything bent evenly. I didn't do so well at that, and the base is a little bit warped on mine. Certainly see that being a frustrating one. Walter J. Schuler, hey Brad, great vid. For this week's question, I've never quit or abandoned a build. However, the closest I think I ever came was with the Darth Vader helmet. The triangular mouthpiece was extremely difficult to get the tabs in correctly. Eventually, I figured it out, but I picked up and put it down a few times before I did. The Lycan Hypercar was a close second. That model is very poorly designed. And this is coming from somebody who has built the Beretta model. So, wow, there's so many things I can say to that. Yes, the Darth Vader helmet, I want to say that was my first attempt at any of the helmets. And I'm told it was the hardest one to do. And I certainly agree. I misread the instructions, did a few things backwards, had trouble with that corner piece, and then there was the eye pieces that it's easy to misinterpret and fold them backwards. And yeah, I struggle with that one tremendously. I mean, it needs a lot of help with a black marker to make it look better. I did finally finish it. But boy, was I mad at that one when I was working on it. Didn't quite rage quit, but yeah, that was a close too. As far as the Lycan Hypercar, I'll have to take your word for it. I haven't touched that one yet. Lee Kisselberg, hey Brad, you want an annoying and frustrating, order you a Peace Fun SU-34 plane and managed to get about 92% of it together and had to quit due to missing slots for a bunch of the tabs. It was a shame because it really was a nice looking model. I have a second one, but I can see through the plastic window that it's exactly the same. Keep up the great videos. Yeah, when it comes to Peace Fun, that is something I've experienced and I've heard from others. The Peace Fun models don't always have the tabs where they should have the tabs, or slots, I should say. They are famous or infamous for having errors on them, and Peace Fun is not a model brand that I tend to gravitate towards, quite the opposite. Richard Kroll, the only one I gave up on was the horse model. Many of the parts were grids, making them flimsy. Several of the tabs were difficult to get in their slots. The final straw was that once I got the legs on, they ended up pointing to the sides rather than down. It looked awful. I just threw the whole project away in disgust. And I do remember the horse armor being a very challenging, much more challenging than I expected model to put together. I think I had some similar trouble with the legs and had to do a little bit of flexing. I do know what you're talking about with the parts being sort of a grid. Makes them a lot flimsier, and I think I remember having a lot of trouble with getting the tabs through the grid instead of the actual slots. That one was a frustrating one, challenging one to build, and yeah, I can see where you would get sick of that one. So now I will tell you a little bit about, and if I can find the video when I put this together and included it, I will include it at the end. If I still have the clip, I'm not sure if I still have the clip, but when I was building a Legends Bumblebee model, I had some trouble with the doors that go on the back, and I misinterpreted it, and it was just a sort of a design that I wasn't familiar with. And sometimes I get this sort of arrogance where I've built so many of these models, I'm pretty sure I know how this goes, and I got it wrong. And sometimes, honestly, one of the things I hear a lot of people doing with these builds is it's kind of a way to relax. Even though it gets frustrating, building these models can pull you out of the world and all of its frustrations and allow you to kind of focus and center yourself and put something together and feel constructive. And I certainly do that. However, that sometimes means that I'm carrying with me frustrations already. And I think that was partially the case in this example with the MU Legends, or not the MU, the Metal Earth Legends Bumblebee. Is when I went to put those doors on the back, I didn't get the tabs lined up right, and I had to keep kind of bending open the part. And it's a little fuzzy now. I just remember being very frustrated and not in a good mood, and the things didn't work out, and the part broke, and I just kind of lost it. I got really angry at it and just basically started tearing the metal pieces to the point where I grabbed a couple other pieces and just ripped them in half and broke the seams and threw them across the table. And that was one of those moments. I can't remember if I cussed during that one. There's several reasons why when you watch my videos there's specific audio playing with voiceovers in the back. Part of that reason is because when I'm building the models I often play the radio, and there's a lot of copyright issues with some of the stuff that's in the background, but it also just makes sense to delete out the audio, put my own music in there, and do voiceovers. But part of it's because sometimes I get mad and I yell at these models. And this was, I think, an instance, and there have been other instances where I have just yelled at a model and banged on the corner of the desk, or just dropped the part and tools and walked away from difficult builds because I just needed a break. But with that one particular model, it kind of stands out. I just got mad to the point when it broke. I just kind of lost it, whatever frustrations were built up in me, and actually ripped a couple of parts in half, which surprised me a little bit that I was able to do that, and threw the pieces to the side and walked away. I did come back later with a new model and successfully put it together and learned my lessons from the mistake that I made, and built that model and another similar situation type Transformers model quite successfully later on. And now that we've talked about last week's question and I've told my little story, I've got another question for you. I've been doing these classes where I show people how to build Metal Earth butterflies, and I'm looking to, in the future, possibly expand upon those classes. One of the goals, one of the things that I want to ultimately do is maybe get a few people locally interested in these models to where we can maybe have a once a month or some sort of regularly scheduled meetup where people just show up with whatever models they want to build, whatever they're working on, whatever they're having trouble with. We all show up, we meet, we talk about the models, we help with each other's builds, and possibly even bring some of our specialty tools to just assist each other. Seems like a neat idea to me, but I wonder, what do you think? What would you think? I know a lot of the Metal Earth family is spread out across the U.S. and even other countries as well, which is a wonderful thing, but it means that there's not usually a lot of people in the same area. But what would you think about possibly having a group of other Metal Earth builders or 3D metal model builders where you just once a month or bi-weekly or every 2 or 3 months, whatever's convenient, get together and just have 2 or 3 hours where you just kind of hang out, talk about the models, help each other with builds, share advice, tips, whatever. What do you think about that idea? Do you think that's a good idea? You think it would work? Is it something you would go to? Share some feedback with me in the comments down below, and I'm just curious to hear what you have to say about that idea. And I will certainly bring it up and talk about it in next week's video. I'll leave it at that. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters for supporting this channel. If you like this channel, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. There's links in the description below and here at the very end of this video. Again, thank you, and keep on keeping on. So I forgot to look for this video clip before recording the news video, and I'm laughing at myself right now because I forgot that the first thing that I did was get angry and smash the model with the drill bit case. Then I hit end on the camera before tearing the pieces off by hand.